on, you're a big boy. Go on.
This is a very special flock of sheep. Each one has an individual name and occupies a very special place in the lives of actress Fidelma O'Dowda and journalist Graham Cooke.
We had a couple of acres, and the question was posed, what are we going to do with them? And these lovely little cuddly sheep that we'd seen from a distance in the mountains, we thought, what a good idea, let's have some sheep.
And then I was down in the pub, but I was down in the pub one night, and the local publican said to me, because he knew I was into animals, and he said, have you ever thought about pet lambs? And I said, pet lambs? And he said, yeah. And I said, no, not really. I said, where would you get a pet lamb? And he says, just let it be known around the place that you'll take in well, he said orphan lambs. He said pets, what they call them around here, but he said orphan lambs. So Graham, I said to Graham, how do you fancy a couple of pet lambs? And he said, oh, that sounds like a good idea. So he let it be known around the place that we'd take them in if there were any available. So that's what happened.
We were with some sheep people over in the other side of the mountains, and we got the call from the Sun to say that the first lamb has arrived. An orphan had become available, you see, and we did the wall of death across the Wicklow Mountains, stopping off at the pub in the meantime to get a baby power bottle, because we'd been advised that that was the ideal measure of what's known as bee stings, colostrum, isn't it? And it has to be filled up with that. You get that into them, and grand, that gets them off to a good start. So we arrived to a screeching halt in Donard, consumed the contents of the baby power bottle, and filled it up with the bee stings. And lo and behold, this poor little mite arrived on our doorstep, and that was it. And we ended up with bales of straw in the house and all sorts of things, and keeping them indoors and God knows what else. And of course, Fidelma, for some extraordinary reason, managed to get herself pregnant around that time, because for reasons of toxoplasmosis, I think is the correct expression, a pregnant woman can't be near lambing ewes. And of course, I was kind of lumbered with holding the fort while herself was in Clane Hospital, giving birth to our child.
Freebie? Hello, Freebie. How are you doing? How's your foot? Let's see. Let me see you.
Fidelma, you have some interesting names on your sheep. Can you tell me how this all happened?
Well, Lazarus is named because she died, so to speak, and then, you know, was alive then the next minute. Slurps because she, when she was taking her bottle, she had a particularly unusual way of taking her bottle, which she made an odd noise. And then there was Tiny because she was so small. That's sort of Chocolate. Chocolate and Lady are twins. They're sisters. Chocolate because she never really was fully black, and then Lady because she has a particular stance about her, which I adore. She's smaller than the other one, but she's got a particular stance, a regal sort of stance about her. Come on. There you are. One was Rambo. The other one was Looney, because Looney was never right in the head. He was a law unto himself. And I think there was Rambo 1 and Rambo 2, I called them. I couldn't think of any other names for them because they were great, big, stocky. Even when they came to me, they were very big. They were lovely. And I really didn't want... I remember when my first ram lamb came, it came into my hands and I thought, I am going to have to rear this, and I know it's going to have to go at some stage. But I held on to them as long as I could. I still know each one. But Graham, I don't know for what reason, could never tell. And I would say, listen, did you see Tiny today? I saw her and there was such and such wrong with her. He said, look, I'm fed up of you calling these animals by their names. He said, I don't know who you mean. I don't know who Tiny is. I don't know who Lazarus is. And he says, I am going to number these guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Besides, he says, I don't want to have that kind of relationship with them.
Graham, can you tell me, what do the local farmers here think of 2 people from the city coming out here and trying to rear sheep?
I think they look upon us as marginally nuts, and to say the least, a bit eccentric. As Fidelma was saying earlier, you know, this business of getting rid of rams, a farmer who's been a farmer since he was young would have absolutely no hesitation in selling off his lambs. And that's the way it ought to be, in fact, if you're being terribly sensible about it. But it, as Fidelma was saying, you know, it tugs at the heartstrings. If you've actually reared something, you've bottle-fed it. It's just like a child. And then one day, bingo, it has to go to the slaughterhouse.
Where do you go from here? Is it just a few pet sheep, or are you going to become a sheep farmer?
Well, I'd rather be a farmer who writes than a writer who farms. I'd ideally love to be a farmer. I suppose it's like anything else, you know, it's greener on the other side of the fence. Although we're learning an awful lot fairly quickly. I'd love to be a farmer, in preference to being a writer. Don't tell them that at the Irish Times.
You're going to eat your apple?